This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
A very, very good morning and welcome to the beginning of the morning safari. I am Sydney Pumunani Mikosi and I am right here with Hosanna, who is just now heading towards the drainage line, the dry riverbed. For in case if you need our attention, you can follow us on Twitter, #SafariLive. You can also follow us on YouTube chat stream. It looks like this cat is interested too much on hunt this morning. When I got him, he was sniffing and checking, and now he's heading much more to the area where there is a densely population of animals such as the duikers. Right in the drainage now. Maybe he's using the drainage as an available cover to avoid any detection. He was chasing something. I didn't even see what he was chasing. You know, these animals don't only chase big animals, they also catch rodents. Look at that. This is quite a very healthy cat. This is an incredible sighting. You can see that he's not worried at all. He's just moving behind us. Look at that. You can see the white and the black and white behind the ears. So those are kind of colors these animals are using as part of their non-verbal communication. Sarah, let's hope so. You can see that he is busy now trying to have something. He's scanning the area. He's trying to check the possible chances. I can see he was also chasing something. He's attracted by quite a lot of small rodents because just earlier on I saw he nearly chased something which went into the hole now. And again he's chasing, but I'm not seeing these animals. So it must be the small animals. So now let's go to Brent.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to a bitterly cold Sabi Sands. It feels like it's bloody winter. It's 12 degrees Celsius, which is too cold in Fahrenheit for me to even think about this morning. My name is Brent Leo Smith. I have Dangerous Dave Easter on camera with his dimples being annoying behind me. But remember, this is live and you can ask us questions while we shiver away here in the Sabi Sands Game Reserve. You can use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter, or you can pop your questions on the YouTube feed. Now, there were a lot of lions making a noise. Unfortunately, they sounded like they were north of us, but I'm going to do a quick skirt down the northern boundary, and then I'm going to go look for a Thandi, who obviously, for those of you who don't know, had a fight with a female leopard called Sibui yesterday on Chitwa after morning safari had finished, and she lost, is what I know. She's got an injury. My brother says it's a big gash, but it's not too bad, nothing too serious. So it'd be nice to see if we can find her and catch up with her after her boxing bout with Sibui. Now, Sibui's quite young, I think she's about 4 or 5, so prime. Whereas Thandi, she is what we would refer to in Zulu as a gogo, a granny. She's quite old. Now, there were tracks of a single lioness coming from around the dam camp. I don't know if any of you guys saw her, but I think that judging from the tracks, they were quite early on. And the fact that I had audio up to the north means I'm going to head towards the north, even though I am 89% certain that that audio was well north of our northern boundary, but they could be coming south. You know, one must be positive in these things. Now, you've seen Hosanna with Sydney already, and the Dashund, James Hendry, is supposed to be joining us this morning from the Mara. Unfortunately, we're having some technical difficulties. Conradi and Ed and Martin are working on it, so hopefully James will be joining us shortly. Now, it is, as I said, it's very cold. I've got 2 jackets on. I've got my leg blankie on. Costa's wondering, will that fight keep Thandi away from Djuma? Quite the opposite, Costa. Quite the opposite. That fight will be keeping Thandi more on Djuma and Torchwood. Sibui is down to the south. That's her old territory. Now, I think Sibui has been pushing Kuchava as well. I think Kuchava's gone to the east, and according to my brothers, because they drive in those areas. So I think Thandi went down there because she heard Sibui's vocalizations and went to go investigate a possible threat, because of course she doesn't really mind related leopards like her daughters being around her, but she will not be very happy having an unrelated leopard like Sibui. Now, the other option is she could be looking to fight. Here we go. What has been going on here? I thought it was lion sleeping. It is not. It's a zebra having a dust bath who will keep going. So she might be looking to push back into her old territory as Kalamba gets near the age of independence. So that is another reason she could have been going down to that area. As you've got Kanyeni to the far east. There's 2 different females to the north, and then you've got Sibui to the south and Shidulu to the west. I was trying to think. And as far as we know from Karula's female lineage, there's only Thandi, Kuchava and Kalamba left. Hopefully Kuchava and Kalamba survive for many years, but Thandi is moving towards the end of her life. I've probably got another 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 at the most, 5. Okay, well, I shiver my way to the northern boundary. Let's send you back to Sydney, who's still searching for our little chief.
So the little chief just got disappeared here by the old drainage, and it seems like it's going to be very difficult for me to relocate him here, but I am going to try by all means and get to the other side. We might be lucky with him, but it's quite a very densely populated drainage with quite a lot of trees. Trish, I didn't copy your question very nicely. If you can repeat that final control. The leopards or cats, such as the leopards and the lions, they can be able to detect their own genes. The olfactory communication. Olfactory communication is a communication which takes place from the secretion of skin glands, urine and droppings. So from sniffing the droppings, from sniffing the animal, from sniffing the scent marks, they can get a lot of information about the identity of an animal. So these animals can be able to detect their own genes. That is why the big cats, such as the lions, they sniff their own genes, and if it's not theirs, they kill their babies. Reason for them to kill babies is after they are convinced that this gene is not theirs. So this cat got disappeared by the drainage here. So the drainage has got a split. So this drainage has got a split, and the other side of the split is very much difficult to access from where I am. So I'm going to have to go and cross this drainage to the other side. So we might be lucky and reallocate him from the other side. Jennifer, the terrain here is a bit difficult, but it's not tiring. It's not tiring. It's part of the experience. It's just that to get the animals very quickly, it takes time sometimes. So it seems like these animals knows that if they want to avoid people, they go to the drainage. So the tires that I'm using at the moment, they are good for the terrain and they are very strong. This kind of trees and the thorns, they don't easily puncture these tires. So I can hear some birds calling by the other side of the drainage. It seems like it might be somewhere in that area. Oh. So he must be hunting this morning, because I saw yesterday he did not get enough from the leftovers from Tingana. So I'm gonna have to try and find a space to cross to the other drainage. I haven't got the chance yet. So you can see how this Costa, we do have other males here in Juma apart from Tingana and Hosana. Some, they come here, they're just coming and going. They come and cause problems. They come and challenge each other and then move away just like that. So where I am is very much thick at the moment. I just want to show you how the vegetation looks like. So this is the area where Hosana got disappeared into. So you can see it's not an easy area. I'm going to have to try and maneuver and find a space to get to the other drainage. Maybe there we will be lucky and see him. But I'll be relying a lot on the animal calls to get his location. So I'll be listening to birds, squirrels, and some other barks. So I'm not hearing anything at the moment, but it does not mean he's not there. It means he is very much concealed where he is. They cannot see him. So now let's go to Brent.
Yeah. Hello, welcome back. Those lions have been found in Buffelshoek. All 5 Talamati lionesses and all 3 Avoca males. So we're going to go down to the south. I think us maneuvering up and down our northern boundary is quite fruitless when it comes to lions, so we're going to go look for some leopards. Oh, Tundi in particular. Oh, it's so cold. It's like winter all over again. 12 degrees Celsius is not a sensible temperature. Well, we've got the baby Egyptian geese that nearly became Hosanna snacks. Firebird, the last tracks of the wild dogs went into a net and then probably into Mala Mala. Hello, little goslings. But they are not goslings, are they? They are actually little ducklings. Because Egyptian geese aren't true geese. They are shield ducks. How many we got there? 4 or 3? Oh dear. Oh dear. There were 4 when Hasana was chasing them about. Now, of course, it's very difficult to keep a little gosling alive because everything eats them. Warburg's eagles, tawny eagles, fish eagles, African hawk eagles, African harrier hawks. Oh, if we go off to the left, there's that juvenile blacksmith lapwing. You see it? Zoom. And up a bit and left a bit. Yeah, it's starting to get its adult coloration. That's what Scoobert would have eventually turned into before he got flattened. Just having a lovely little listen. It's a great time of the morning to listen. These cold mornings, sound travels very far. Big cat love thinks they can hear Franklin's alarming. You can hear Franklin's calling, certainly not alarming. Ooh, ooh. Where is it? I heard it. I heard a little white-bellied sunbird. They're so tiny. It keeps the cameramen on their toes when we look for tiny birds. It hasn't made another noise just yet. Jamie's calling me on the game drive radio. She's out with the trainees. Standing by. Copy. Thanks very much. That's very interesting. Did you confirm you heard all 3 Avocas and 5 Talamatis in the north? Okay, Jamie says she's got tracks that looks like a mating pair of lions. It was very confusing. Jamie's got tracks of 2 lions coming into Djuma, but quite far to the west. And all 3 Avocas and 5 Talamatis have been found. Yes, I think they've probably done a loop, and those tracks I found near the dam cam are the same ones. Okay, where to go next? Which way are we feeling, Dave? Left? Right? Okay, then we're going right. No, I'm only joking, Dave. Sorry, Beggs, I didn't hear that question. The Game Drive radio was talking. Ed would like to know, what does Juma smell like at this time of the year? Well, it smells like slightly damp bush. And actually, after the rain, it's very, very clear. Not too many smells. Dust. What can you smell, David? Fresh. It smells fresh, because it's quite, especially when it's cool like this. It really feels like a winter's morning today. One of the other reasons checking through here, this is one of Tingana's favorite patrol routes. And let's have a look on the slightly softer sand. Of course, tracking is not fun. Well, it's fun and challenging after the rain, but it's not easy. I was showing David a bit earlier the lion tracks, and I mean, you can barely see that they're lion tracks. There's little scuffs on the soil. Okay, I'm gonna head down to the eastern, or head towards the eastern boundary, and then I'm gonna cut down south, see if we can find the beloved Tundi. In the meantime, let's go across to Sydney, who's still searching for Hosana.
So I am still now in the middle of a search, and it seems like this animal is walking somewhere in the drainage here, but I can't see him. The drainage is too deep. So the animals are also very quiet in the area. I was hoping for some help from these animals. Maybe he didn't go far. So I am now heading much more towards the Galago pen, again alongside the drainage here. So no tracks are coming out of this drainage. He is still somewhere here. So the sun is very bright at the moment. It's difficult to see the eastern direction. To look at the eastern direction is not easy to see anything from that side. My elephant dung stick is for the guided walks. You will see it again next time. When I come back for the guided walk, I will be having it. Okay, I can hear the birds. The birds are making noise somewhere this side, so I'm gonna have to quickly go and check there. Maybe he has just changed direction. I can hear the francolins are making noise this side. So maybe those francolins are just lending me a hand. I didn't copy that question, FC. After the rain, the trekking is easy, but it's not very easy because the moisture keeps the track to look fresh for quite a long time. So it does confuse us because of that reason. So after the rain, the soil is very moisturized and an old track is going to look fresh all the time until it's dry. So I just want to check. Here is where I have last seen him going. So I just want to check if he went to that side or he came back. David, maybe Hosanna needs a day off from the TV. Yeah, now we want to see him. We must come out. Now, I'm sure he's looking for something to eat. Because yesterday he was looking very hungry. So I cannot see the tracks going back here, but this is the part I saw him going up this way. So now I'm just going to respond quickly to a call given by the Frank Collins earlier. I just want to no, I'm not hearing any call at the moment. Not easy to see his tracks here in the area. I haven't experienced that June before, animals at the back of my car. But only these animals, big animals, also cats, they do come past at the back, but so I've never hit an animal with the car before. So now let's go to Brent with some elephants.
Yes. Hello, Ellies. They look half asleep still. Little one having a drink. Quite a young female to have a calf, probably her first calf. And you can see the older female in the background, much bigger. Now, let's say that little Ellie's probably, the mom's probably around 20-ish. They reach sexual maturity sometimes in certain areas as young as 12 or 13, normally around 15. That little calf is 2 years old or so, maybe 2.5. So I'd say she's around 20. First calf would be my guess. keep quiet. There's quite a few of them in the thick bush behind. We might hear some lovely low rumbles. Are you coming to say hello? Oh, yes you are. You're so scary. It's a little female giving us a little head shake. Sean says they look so beautiful in this light. Indeed they do. And the bush is alive with sounds this morning. Nico viewer would like to know, do elephants sleep standing? Yeah, they'll doze standing. Sometimes the younger ones and even the adults will lie down. But they don't sleep for very long, not more than about 3 or 4 minutes at a time. They need to keep moving to keep that massive bulk well fed. Now I just said that the bush is alive with sounds at the moment, so I'm just going to keep quiet and try count how many different birds I can hear. I got 16 birds there, 16 different species. Enjoying this cool weather after the rain, making lots of noise. Of course, in those moments we sit quietly, we're also listening for snorts. And chirps and chips of alarm calls, squirrels, monkeys, antelope. I'm about to add a noise to the dawn chorus there. Thank you very much, David. Excuse me, sorry about that. Oh, there we go. Nola is wondering, does tusk length coincide with the age of an elephant? Not necessarily, Nola. It's genetics. Some elephants will have big tusks even when they're little. Others will have small tusks even when they're old. But when you get to very, very big tusks on elephant bulls, then yes, it does. Oh, here we go. Elephants don't seem to mind my sneezing at all. Thank you everyone who is saying bless you. They normally come in about patches of about 8 or 9. And unfortunately I don't know how to sneeze quietly. Shut up, David. I'm cackling there and find a stick to beat you with. Oh, there's the bird number 17, a hardy-da. Michael's wondering, do I think elephant communication will be fully understood? I don't know, probably not. Oh dear. Have we got any more? Yes, there's more coming. Stop it, David, I'll beat you. Move forward a bit. Now between the sneezing and David, the elephants are moving into some... Sure. Okay, well, I try to get over my sneezes. Let's go across to Sydney, who's got a skava.
So I've got one of the small predators here. This is an owl. How we found this owl was because of the mobbing behavior. So there was quite a lot of bears there trying to chase him, and he was just sitting there doing nothing. So these bears were making noise, trying to come and attack him, but he didn't react on them. So this is one of the small owls. So owls can be very much into, look there, you can see the birds. Another species has just arrived. This is the helmet shrike now. So they are right next to that owl. They might also try to provoke him. Owls are much more active during the night. You can see them during the day and in the mornings, like now. Maybe those helmet shark didn't see him there. So these kind of birds have got false eyes. When it's looking at the other side, if you look right on his back, you will see he's got the two black dots which look similar to the eyes. So the hearing ability on owls is very good. It's because they can program their ears nicely and hear something in front and at the back without even moving their head. So these owls, they can be able to do something called to split seconds difference. They can program the left ear to copy something different from the right ear at the same time. So that is a great gift. So birds has got a very good vision, because if you can check, the head of the bird is suitable to accommodate the eyes. The brain is too small. Our head is too big because it has to accommodate the brain. So the bird, the skull is suitable to to have large eyes. So that's why these kind of birds can see very well. So a good example I can give you, the fish eagle can be able to see underwater when it's high up and still come and catch something. Birds are part of the animals which has got a very good wide vision. So I'm just going to carry on now and see if maybe we cannot find fresh tracks or Hosana himself when we get to the link road between Mvubu Road and the Galago Pen. Linda Gale, I am not too sure what are all the different species of the owls occurring here, but I have seen two already. I have seen the pearl-spotted owl and I have seen the spotted eagle owl. No, I can't find my tracks. I'm trying to backtrack my tracks here, but I can see them now. It's not an easy area to drive here. So the francolins are just making noise everywhere. Now it's confusing, but that is not an alarm call. When they're giving an alarm call, it's a different call. that it won't be easy for us to find Hosanna this morning here by this drainage. But this is not happening for the first time. It happened to me before. When Hosanna is in this area, it's not easy to find. Whether driving or walking, it can easily hide by this drainage. So it will be very, very difficult if we catch something somewhere around the drainage here. If we catch something and drag it into the drainage, it will be very difficult for us to find him during the afternoon. So I'm just going to check from the beginning now, just to see if he did not go back to the beginning, because here I'm not seeing any sign of his presence. So the cats such as the leopards, when they are hunting, they are very much patient. So you might find that he is fascinated by something deep in there. So, but now let's go to Brent.
Okay, back with us. I've got information about Thandi and where she was last seen from my little brother. She was last seen between the Chitwa southern boundary, which is in front of us, and the Mawati looking north. So she must have been very close to where I was looking for her yesterday, but just unfortunately outside of our traverse. So let me just actually double check here. Make sure she hasn't ducked in here. It doesn't look like it. So I'm going to be going very slowly here, and I do apologize if my head is on the ground, but I'm sure you're as intrigued as I am to find Thandi after her boxing bout with Sibui. So I'm going to be checking for tracks very, very carefully. Aegis is wondering if I think Sibui and Hosanna could mate because they're the same age. I think Sibui would probably give Hosanna a hiding if he tried to mate with her. He's not a dominant leopard. There's no biological reason for Sibui to want to mate with Hosanna. And he probably wouldn't know what to do as well. So, oh, it's Andrew. Andrew from Cheetah Plains. So, no, I don't think they would mate. Now, the other problem is, all the hippos from Chitwa Dam have marched in and out of here last night on there and back in this morning. So, if she crossed last night between, the hippos might have obliterated her tracks. So I'm just going very slowly and checking very carefully. So Dill said she was about 300 meters from Gowrie Main, about halfway, which is a little bit further than where we are now. But just double checking tracks now. And we just got to hope she's walked in the soft stuff on the edge of the road and that no numpty has driven over the tracks. Bright Knight's wondering, do I know if Hukamuri has sired any offspring on Juma? Probably not yet. Probably not yet. That is hyena. No, I don't think he's sired any offspring on Juma yet. I'm sure he has sired offspring somewhere. An area I want to check very carefully here. Tandy! Where are you going? Why are you going back into Little Gowrie? These tracks are quite fresh though. You see them, Dov? So that's why I wanted to check this area quite carefully. So, here we go. But these tracks are going the wrong way. I'm just going to have a quick squiz to see if she's maybe just walking down the road and scent marking, or she actually crossed. Now when I say tracking at this time of the year is not easy. So you can see in the soft sand, you can see them quite easily. But that little tiny scuff, that tiny little change of color is a leopard track. And that there, can you see that, Dave? Can you see how there's a slightly different change of color in the soil there? That is a leopard track. That's why I said, that's why I drive so slowly. If you speed around, you will miss tracks and then you deserve to be hit with a big stick. Deary, deary me. Maybe she's not finished battling with Sabui just yet. We'll check down a little. Let's see if she maybe loops back. But those tracks are fresh. Those are not from last night. Those are from this morning. Possibly early this morning, but nevertheless, still from this morning. Oh dear. Megan is saying she's never seen me in long pants. Megan, you've never spent enough time around me in winter. It's about the only time for about 2 months of the year, and only in the mornings, do I wear long pants and closed shoes. Doesn't happen often. So I'm not a fan of either long pants or closed shoes, but I'm less of a fan of the cold. I only have about 2 pairs of long pants. Okay, I'm going to keep checking, make sure she hasn't crossed back. In the meantime, let's go to Sydney, who is struggling to find our little chief this morning.
Yeah, I am still after the little chief here. So now I am in the middle of the 2 drainages, just to see if he's not somewhere hiding here. I can hear some birds complaining. I'm not sure if they're complaining about him or they're complaining about the owls. Nina Mo. There we go. Oh, there we got him. It means the birds were calling. They were calling about him. So, Nina Mo, the reason why this kind of predators likes the drainage line is that the drainage line during the daytime is very much is moist. It is not very warm because there is too much shade on it, and there is also trees that are still having the green leaves for them to enjoy the shade. So I have just reallocated Hosana. I saw him now. I can see him there on that side. Maybe he's doing some hunting. So I'm just going to drive and see if we can get closer. So he's right there. So it's just, I can see him right there. You can see, there he's standing there. I think he's interested on something. There might be a potential prey here. You can see how he's looking. That shows that there is a potential prey in this area. Oh, there's a duiker that side, yeah. Now he's looking at the duiker, which is going towards the opposite direction. You can see the ears that he is concentrating highly now. I'm very happy that we found him. I nearly gave up. Ladybugs, that is true, is a rosette. They are so beautiful. Looks like roses indeed. Oh, I can hear the elephants as well trumpeting from where I am. So how this cat is looking. MY, this is quite a handsome boy indeed. He is now listening to the elephants who are trumpeting somewhere towards the direction. So we might be lucky this morning and see Hosana's hunting skills. Maybe that is what delayed him a little bit in the gully by the drainage line. So there's quite a lot of different calls from the elephants coming from different angles. Maybe there's a big herd of elephants here not far. So you can see those whiskers there. He uses those whiskers in order to sense a lot of things. So it looks like he wants to be sure of something before he moves on. Niconico viewer, the leopards, when they are between 18 and 22 months is when they are going to become independent. And when they are starting to reach the maturity, it doesn't mean they are going to start mating there. Mating mostly, they are doing it when they are between 3 to 4 years. When they are starting to demarcate the territory, it's just a signal to show that they are now going to be sexually active and they are going to mature. So normally between 3 and 4 years is when they are going to start mating. Oh, I can see he's moving there, so I don't want to lose him again, so I'm going to follow him now. He's taking his time. He's not in a hurry at all. But I want to drive behind him. I don't want to disturb if he is on a hunting mission. And thank you very much to the birds who were calling before it was spotted. So you can see that he's moving now. He's going to cross the drainage to the other side. So he is looking at something by the other side of the drainage now. So this is the second drainage he's going to cross. So I'm just going to, again, keep following. So instead of crossing the drainage, is going in the drainage. Jacqueline, I didn't copy your question nicely. So these animals, the testosterone hormone is the one which makes them active for mating activities. And remember, the females as well, when the females are sexually active, the ostrus hormone drives them to the males, and they go, and if it's a leopard, they've got a little bit of a mating dance to convince the male in order to mate. And I think that is how the males and females get interested and mate. So that leopard again went into the drainage, and it's not easy here for us to cross. I'm going to have to drive along the drainage again. So this is not an easy area to drive. So I hope we're not going to lose him again. So now it's time to go for some technical fixing, and my apologies, we'll come back soon.
Hello, welcome back. Sorry about that. We were just trying to get James Henry in the Mara back up and running. Unfortunately, it didn't work. So it is just Sydney and myself. Now, as I said, those tracks of Tandi went straight back into Little Gowrie. But I've just got a report of tracks of a leopard. I'm not going to tell you which leopard, crossing into an area I'm not going to tell you where. And I'm really hoping we find this leopard. I'll be very, very excited. If we do find this particular leopard. No one has been here since this morning yet. Mohammed is wondering where's Hukumuri. Hukumuri's been mostly to the west around the Manyeleti River, Arathusa, Elephant Plains, and that area for the last while. That's where he has been. He was mating with Shidulu not so long ago, and Tiania as well. He's been seen mating with. Okay. Interesting. There's a big herd of impala here and they all look very relaxed. So I might have to go back to where I heard those tracks were crossing. I've tried to jump up ahead. It's always better to be ahead of the game, not following from behind, but sometimes the gambles don't pay off. Let me just work out where he would be heading. It might be heading over there. Okay. Let's have a quick check down there. Justin is wondering where Nkanyeni has been lately. I do know where Nkanyeni has been lately. She's been on the Kruger boundary of Torchwood and in Nkoro. So, unfortunately, although we can drive there, we don't have signal there at the moment. It's basically just east towards the rising sun, but as far east as you can go in the Sabi Sands. Okay, I just want to have a look if there's any big game paths coming out here. Okay, I'm gonna get my eyes locked on the sand again. While we do that, Sydney is still with the little chief.
So the little chief is now relaxed. You can see he's now under a very nice shade, but still listening to what is happening. You can see he's now sleeping, holding the elephant down. So the little chief is very much clever. I saw him rubbing the body against the buffalo urine and droppings near the Galago pen. So they can be able to use the scent from these droppings and the urine of other animals in order to mislead their prey. So he's very much fast to react. So you can see the very long tail there. This tail is one of the things you can use as a mood ring. It will tell you a lot about the internal thinking of this animal, and can also be part of the non-verbal communication as well. When having the little ones, they will call from the tail and follow each other. And it can also tell about the irritation of the animal. Marking the territories is something these animals see the adults doing. And when they do that, they sniff and they start to mark. But some of these behaviors can be learned. Some of the behaviors are instinct. So the instincts are those animals are born with, knowing what to do and not what to do. So you will see these animals have got different, they have got the different scent marks. So they've got the marks at the back and they've got the marks on the face. So these kind of masks that they put on trees, it serves for the same purpose. So the scent which is secreted at the back from the urine and the scent which is from the face, it serves the same kind of information about the animal. Gary, the leopards, when they have got problems with the diseases, the only common disease I have seen affecting the cats it's not a disease, but it's when they are having tapeworms. When having tapeworms, they eat the grass. Normally they prefer green grass. Eating the green grass helps them to get rid of the parasites. So, but they don't really eat the elephant dungs for that. So you can see that the whiskers, all these cats, lions and the leopards, they've got very long whiskers here on the side of their mouth. And this whiskers helps them in order to sense the area, and the whiskers are connected to the muscular sensitive organs and also connected to the nervous coordination. These animals, when they're walking, they can be able to detect from the whiskers about the size and the shape and the distance of an object around them. If you shave these whiskers, these animals are going to be disorientated. So the whiskers, at the tip of the whiskers, they've got something which is called the proprioceptors, which helps them to take information straight to the brain. And that is how they are going to know everything. So this is linked to the senses and is also linked to their nervous coordination. You will see also on top of the eyes, they've got the whiskers here on the side of the mouth, and also here next, just at the bottom, next to the nose, they've got whiskers, and on top of their eyes, including some of the cats got them just at the back of their front legs. So those whiskers serve the same purpose. They are also called the vibrissae. But we only see the ones which are on the side of the mouth the most. We don't realize the ones on top of the eyes. You can see that it's just getting irritated from the flies. Senedi, the name Hosana is a Shangaan name. Shangaan is one of the local languages here in Mpumalanga and also is spoken in Limpopo. It's one of the languages I can speak fluently. Hosana, it means a little chief. So, but we call it Hosana. Hosana. So, yes, pronunciation can be different. We call it Hosana, but it's Hosana. Hosana is a little chief. So this cat might be here for some hours. So he might sleep here for some hours, as his journey this morning started not very far away from the waterhole. So I'm sure already he had something to drink for the morning, so he might be here for some time. And he might also catch something in the very same area. His behavior this morning is telling me that he is up to something. Starlight, I am not too sure which one has got, but the leopard, the tail can go up to 94 centimeters, and the lions can also go 105 centimeters. So between the lion and the leopard, the lion's tail is much longer than the leopard's tail. So you can see that the body is built for climbing the trees. If you look at the back of these animals, the muscles compared to the dogs, this has got very strong muscles at the back and also by the front legs. But the hind legs here by these animals, they are much more powerful than the front legs, because those are the ones that propels the weight when they're climbing the trees, holding their prey. So these cats can hear from very far. So it's just moving the ears there. So they can hear from a very long distance. You will see if anything comes here, they're just going to wake up immediately and check what is happening. And sometimes they will hear things that you cannot hear. So what I like the most about cats and dogs and also the hyenas is how they sniff and follow the scent to get to where the kill is. When Tingana has got a kill, Hosana will be able to navigate and keep following the air particles and follow the air particles until he gets to the spot. That is something which is very difficult. So to the animals, it's not all about hearing ability and sight. They can use their noses in order to get to the different spots. So this is one of those proud cat mama. The leopards I have just heard last year and before last year here in South Africa, the hunt against leopard, it was prohibited. I'm not too sure if now it is released again. It was prohibited to hunt leopard. There was no licensing here in South Africa last year and a year before, because they wanted to verify the statistics. The population of leopards is going down here in the country. So the chances of this kind of big cats to be part of the endangered species are very high. I'm not too sure. I don't have a clear confirmation on that, but I know that there is a concern about the population of leopards in the country at the moment. So I can hear one of the birds who normally detects as well this kind of big cats is making noise, but I don't think that noise is because of the presence of Hosanna. Maybe there is something else where this bird is calling. And Lily, the leopard's tail do help the leopards for the balance. When they are climbing trees and when they are running, you will see they use the tail in order to balance themselves. That is one of the functions. So it's not only about the follow me sign of the babies, but also to help the animal itself when it comes to balancing. So this is one of the animals which can be able to walk smoothly when they're stalking their prey. You can see the underneath their paws. You can see that it's very much, yes, now you can see it clear. Underneath their paws, it's not that very rough. It can be very smooth and they can easily approach. And how they approach and stalking animals is interesting, because when there's dry grass, they make sure that where the front leg is stepping, the hind one will come there to avoid any noise. They try by all means to minimize noise when they are doing that. So this kind of paws underneath, it allows them to walk smoothly. So now let's go to Brent.
It's like ghost tracking at the moment. Ghost tracking. The tracks are so faint. And there's tracks coming down this animal path here towards where those impala were. So just going ever so slowly. Just checking carefully. These tracks are very fresh, so hoping this leopard is around, but oof. The tracks are so faint. So where was I walking in the bush? Over there. Tracks were heading this way. I wonder if he might have crossed down here. We might have to have a look down here just now. But it'll be very exciting if we find this secret leopard. What is it? Yo. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Let me just double check. No, it's not him. It is a hyena. This is the area I'm expecting him to come out. Tracking after rain. Well, the one thing it does definitely do is sharpen your senses. Now, normally a track like that would be on it. If it was just before the rain, I'd be able to probably almost jog on it and being able to see it as we went through the bush. But now, after the rain, it all takes that much longer because you've got to check that much more carefully. Game path was coming here. It might be just one of those game paths that peters out though. Here is a game path, but going in the incorrect direction. And hyena went down that one. And of course, I often forget how far these animals can move and how quickly. Rima's wondering, will another female leopard kill a female leopard who's got cubs during a fight? Yes, if the opportunity presents itself, most definitely. Chance to remove competition for her cubs. Okay, I'm going to just check this road junction again very carefully. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, it sounds like we have a miracle that has happened. So while I try dissect the mystery of the tracks, let's send you to James in the Mara.
Hello everybody, yes, sorry about the delay to the start today, not my fault, it's probably Conrad's fault, so you know you can send through your tweets to the hashtag SafariLive, berating Conrad for his tardiness this morning. I am of course being unfair. My name is James Hendry, I'm sitting here in the Masi Mara with the North Clan of Hyena with Bungay on camera. He wears one glove which is slightly disconcerting. I'm beginning to wonder if he actually has oh, he's got a half glove on the other hand. Alright, we're sitting at the North Clan. We are trying to figure out what's going on here. I'm obviously very new to this clan. Waffle's extremely easy to identify. She is, of course, the matriarch of the clan. She's easily distinguished because she's got a great big collar and a scar on her back. The rest, however, despite the fact that I have picture identikits, I'm finding extremely difficult to figure out what's going on. For those of you who don't know, perhaps you're trying to figure things out here as well. The North Clan consists of a huge number of individuals. I'm not sure exactly how many, but it's a lot. And that there is one of Waffles' new offspring. I suspect 2 young males, which is a bit sad for her because it does mean that probably her genetic line may not accede to the matriarchy when she shuffles off this mortal coil. But I don't know that for sure, and I've been sitting here trying to sex them. Now, there have been 2 other adults here, and I think they're 2 males. I'm going to guess that they are her 2 sons, Waffles' 2 sons, Hershey and Ferg. The pictures I have them all in very kind of wintry, not plumage, wintry, what am I going with? sort of wintry coats, if you like. They've got very thick hair, and so the spots are not quite as obvious as they are right now, and they were a bit younger when those photo identikits were taken. But there seem to be two males lurking here with their mother, and then the two little cubs. We also had another two adults, I think Fuzz and her youngster, who's in amongst that group of bushes there. Now we're going to move there. Fuzz, a subordinate female, low ranking as far as I can work out, and she was knocking about here with her little cub. And very interesting, she went off, I don't know if to forage or to drink or whatever it was, but her youngster remained looking on to the dominant cubs as they were all playing with each other, and her little baby just looked on as if, like the poor bullied fellow on the playground who wants to join the game but's too scared to. It's exactly what it looked like. We'll just do a little drive around here. You can see what I think is one of Waffles' sons over there. Well, that's the problem, isn't it, Oregon Way? They do grow up so quickly, which means it's so very hard to figure out what on earth is going on. Because every time you come, unless you're here every day, by the time you get back, they weigh another 4 kilograms. Now, I think that is one of Waffles' sons, Ferg or Hershey, and playing with one of her newest offspring. Certainly he would not be allowed that kind of free rein to pull about to pull the cow about like that, unless he was closely related to the matriarch. Yeah, Painted Wolf, hyenas are the ultimate bullies. It's very, very different from wild dogs. People see them in these packs or clans together and think, wow, they've got a sort of similar social structure to the wild dog. It really could not be more different. But it is great fun trying to figure out what is going on here. This is sort of advanced hyena. Introductory novice hyena occurs at Djuma because the clan is only about 7 females strong. Whereas here, it's just a lot more complicated. And I wasn't particularly good at novice hyena at Djuma. So I've kind of gone on to my PhD before getting my bachelor's degree in hyenas. Jamie eventually managed to recognize them just on sight, which of course is what you need to be able to do. Yeah, so I think those are the two older male offspring of Wafflies, Hershey and Ferg, and they're playing basically with their younger brothers, what I'm guessing are brothers, but could be sisters. And then there is one in front of us. Is that Wafflies? No. Now who is that? That is a reddish hyena. That could easily be sour. Yes, Minamu, I think they probably do separate due to the numbers being too big, but what would probably happen rather than them separating is that the lower ranking individuals will just kind of drop off the end of the hierarchy and go off on their own. They may set up clans on their own, but I think it's unlikely that you would ever have a situation where, say, the second most dominant female decided, to hell with this, I want my own clan, and, took half the clan off with her. I don't think it would work like that. I might be wrong, but I can't see it happening like that. But remember also, the hormone profile of a dominant hyena is completely different from that of a subdominant or subordinate hyena, which means that if a hyena is a subordinate member of a clan like this, and it decides it's had enough, I'm talking about the female largely, it decides it had enough and wants to go off to another clan, or there's not enough to eat in this clan, and just keeps getting bullied off food. Because of its hormone profile and its experience, it's going to, if it's an adult especially, if it goes to another clan, it's going to be forced to be subordinate as well. It's not like it's going to go into another clan and start dominating. It's the kind of thing, again, very like human beings, that is inculcated from a very young age. Even within the den, there's a fighting over dominance, and you'll find the hormone profile changes. So if you take a hormone sample of a subordinate female in this clan versus Waffles, for example, you will find a huge amount of stress hormone or various stress hormones in the subordinate one, probably a much lower level of androstenedione, which is the androgen hormone that makes hyena females big and dominant and sort of scary, if you like. And so were that subdominant female to go and join another clan, she wouldn't have any clue how to become dominant. And it's very similar to some of the circapathine monkeys, so baboons and vervets, and it's actually quite similar to human beings. It's very interesting to watch how those that manage to dominate on the playground aged 6 or 7 often will take that confidence into their adult lives and, their business lives and their sporting lives. It's fascinating to watch. So it's not uncommon in the mammal kingdom. Obviously, there are the exceptions to the rule. And we know that Waffles, for example, was not born to a high-ranking female, and that she was not born to the matriarch, and she took the matriarchy by force. So that does happen, as it does happen in human beings as well. Now, Hershey and Ferg, I'm just going to check their ages. I'll figure this out quickly. Hershey and Ferg are actually almost 3 years old. And so they're adults. So the fact that they are still lurking around with their mum and playing and behaving in such a sort of fun, cubbish fashion is very interesting. Anyway, we'll unpack more of what's happening over here while you go back to Sidders and the sleeping Hosanna.
Hosanna is now in the middle of the sleep. He is not going anywhere, I can promise you. And now the temperatures are going very high. The sun is getting very strong. It was a little bit chilly this morning. So now I think the sun is going to ground him around here. Unless Chris, the leopards, they do catch the squirrels. And I've seen that specifically the young leopards. Young leopards are interested to learn how to hunt from the easy stuff. Kalamba, one of our cats here, the little queen, was also involved on a hunt with the squirrel. I was on that sighting some time ago. And Kalamba even went up into a tree to try and get hold of the squirrel. The squirrel managed to escape to the other trees. So the squirrels has got an advantage of the high trees. So let's hope something is going to come here and change him from sleeping to do hunting, or maybe catch and drag something up into a tree so that we can have a better sighting. But this is normal. Animals, they also deserve some time to rest. But normally this is done by the cats who's got quite a lot in their bellies. When the cats are full in their bellies, all they do is sleeping all day long. But when it's not too much in their bellies is when they can carry on hunting. He did eat a little bit yesterday morning and afternoon. It was not too much. He tried, but it couldn't work unless he got something again, maybe small, last night. So these big animals such as the leopards, they do lose their cubs as well. So sometimes when having cubs in the dens, some of the predators can detect where the little ones are hidden, go and eat them. Nola, that is interesting to see them dreaming and how they move these paws. So you can see that these paws, there's quite a lot of hairs around them. I can see there was also an ant working on one of these paws there. There's quite a lot of hairs. This helps them in order to smoothly walk. The hairs prevent the noise. So now let's go back to Brent, who is now still searching for a leopard.
Yes, and I'm hoping we find this mystery leopard that I'm not telling you who we think it is. No. But tracking, as I say. Oh dear. I'm hoping he's gone and put his feet in that soft sand up ahead because, yeah, there's lion tracks here, and these are different lions. Oh, James gave it away. But there could be other lions here as well, because these lion tracks were not here yesterday. It's a track of a single lioness as well. Mysteries, mysteries, mysteries. So many of the mysteries. I had a quick walk through the block. There's male lion tracks. Nola says, mystery cat, I can't wait. Fortunately, Nola, James gave it away. I'm looking for Quarantine the male leopard, who is one of Karula's sons. From when I first started, he didn't say it live. I've given it away. Oh dear. Confusion over the radio there. I wonder which lions. The Torchwood Pride could be around as well. Let's have a look. Are these lion tracks on top of the impalalas? No, under the impalalas. So I was wondering if I know if Kalamba is still alone. I'm not sure. I haven't seen her. But if Tandi's off fighting, I would expect that she's almost certainly alone. Now there's a... Yeah, this is where I found Quarantine's tracks before. Coming out of the block onto the road here. So I'm doing a lot of tracking this morning. Hopefully, if it doesn't provide us with anything this morning, it'll do it for the evening safari. But in the meantime, back to James in the Mara.
Right, well, we've found another 2 baby hyenas here. I don't know who these 2 are, unless they're just waffles that have moved back, but I don't think they are. because they're a little bit of a distance from the others. Everything is calming down here at the den, as you would expect it to at this time of the day. It's now about, well, it's 7:45 over here, 7:15 at Juma. And things are warming up. They're not hot, but they're warming up a bit. And so these hyenas are calming down. Just chilling out, as they say. Now, I think we did find Sour. Sour's youngster is also here. Right, we've got a question from somebody called Sight Beaver. Well, Sight Beaver, no, hyenas are not canids. They are not felids, nor are they anything else that is... Oh, Psych Diva, not Slight Beaver. Okay, so Psych Diva, and just as interesting, really, as a name. No, hyenas are not dogs, they're not cats, they are in their own family called the Hyenidae, so they are not canids or felids, and in fact the animals that they are most closely related to are the Herpestidae, or the hyenas, not the hyenas, the mongoose. So the mongoose are the most closely related to them, and then the cats, and somewhere way in the distance the dogs. So they're not very closely related to dogs at all. And I think there are 4 extant members of the Hyenidae. This is the spotted hyena, we have the brown hyena, the striped hyena, and the aardwolf, or earth wolf, which is basically a termite eater, as opposed to a scavenger and hunter like these chaps. Psych Diva, as opposed to Slight Beaver. There are the 2 little cubs. A little bit forward. There we are. Hello, little fat chaps. Yes. Now, we did manage to sex one of the cubs the other day, and I think it was Sour's cub, who is a young male. Dr. Rob, you say they're so cute at this age. They are tremendously sweet, and really, I mean, when compared with the kind of grizzled, terrifying, terrifying, yeah, I think that's a pretty good way of putting it, look that Waffles has. She's not exactly an oil painting, so they do lose their cuteness, I guess a bit like human beings when they get older. And because they live lives filled with battles and fighting and hunting, yes, their bodies definitely take a knock. And the scarless faces that they have as babies certainly are not scarless by the time they're more than 10 years old, like Wafflies. Anyway, I think things have pretty much calmed down over here, so I don't think we're going to spend too much longer with the North Clan. I am going to be spending a bit more time over the next week with them, and this is because we need them for the TV show on Sunday. Zander, no, there are no brown hyenas here. Brown hyenas belong in desert regions, so you won't find them here. You could, in theory, find a striped hyena in this part of the world. I've never seen one here. I've never met anyone who's seen one, actually. They're much rarer hyenas, but you do get them up here in East Africa. So that's the striped hyena, which is looks like this thing, just about half the size, and unsurprisingly it has got stripes on it. Okay, let's leave the North Clan of hyenas to themselves, and I think we'll press on. Goodbye. I'll see you probably tomorrow morning. Okay, yes. I'll come here earlier, though, and then you can play a bit more. All right, good. Tell your parents I'll be back tomorrow. Marvellous. Okay. Unsurprisingly, we are going to go back to Hosana, and most unsurprisingly is that he is still...
So I'm here with Hosana, who has been hosting a lot of hyenas before. So hyenas Hosanna, every time you got something, they come. So it's like the main attraction of the hyenas. So when seeing hyenas, when seeing Hosanna, the hyenas, they go hungry. They think about food. So the Ijuma clan of the hyenas are doing very well, Crispin. I went to the Ijuma den yesterday and I found Koki and the other two hyenas and the three little ones. I saw them. It was a lovely sighting. They are doing very well, and there was a very distinctive smell of a carcass as well there, showing that they brought some food, which was... I think it was a carrion, not fresh food, because the smell was very bad. They are doing very well there. So you can hear there's quite a lot of calls from some of the doves. So those doves are talking. You can hear they're doing krr, 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 krr. So in the morning, those doves, if you listen to the interpretation of the call, it's like work harder, work harder. Krr, 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 krr. In the afternoon is drink lager, drink lager. So in the afternoon, then they sing a different song. So look at how Hosanna is lying down now. So this is one of the ways as well they try to expose themselves in order to get rid of the parasites. So by the dry season, there's quite a lot of parasites. So these animals do carry quite a lot of parasites, just that you cannot see them. It's not easy. So there's some noise. It's from the lilac-breasted roller. So I thought it's a warning call from one of the prey animals, but it's not. It's not. It does confuse a lot of people. It sounds like So today he is sleeping on a different style. So I was saying, by this time of the year, the dry season, it brings them quite a lot of parasites. So that's why they must have to try by all means and get rid of these parasites. So, but because leopards are solitary, they're unlike the lions, which can be able to do the reciprocal grooming. They have to mostly clean themselves. Sometimes you will see them also rolling on the ground. They also do sunbathing. And sometimes they go to the water, but mostly. So now let's go to James, who's got a lovely bed. So I'm not too sure what the bed James has got, but he's got one of the nice beds.
There is a very interesting bird, and the bird is sitting in a bush, strangely. There you can see it. And you might identify it as a Swainson's spurfowl, which would be wrong because it is not a Swainson's spurfowl, and the reason I know that is that it has red legs. It is therefore a red-necked spurfowl, or Franklin. And what it's doing up there, I can't actually figure out. It's quite fun though. It's very close. It's very confiding. It's not in the least bit nervous of us, and we're very close to it. red-necked franklin. Should be. Hang on a second. Let me just make sure that I'm not telling you a lie. So I can't actually find that. It looks like what in South Africa would call a red-necked franklin. I'm sure that's what it is. Yes, red-necked spurfowl. Precisely what it is. Now, also, there are a couple of kukels around here, white-browed kukels. And let me just reverse slightly from this tree climbing red-necked spurfowl. A couple of kukels knocking about over here, and one of those, there we go. Tracy, that spurfowl was number 89 on your list. That's fantastic. There we've got a white-browed kukel. And I've also just seen one of those grey fiskals. Well, there are a number of different fiskals. Or as David Gitu would say, physical. He and I used to roll about laughing because he, for a long time, was completely unable to say fiscal. He had to put an I between the S and the C. And so it was a physical. Fiscal, David. Yeah, physical. So we had a grey-backed physical. Here it comes back. Here comes the grey-backed physical. It's going to land right next to us. Hello, grey-backed physical, which is of course a kind of a shrike. Magic. Very nice. Nice to do a bit of birding here, you know. The birds are very different from those in Djuma. So we've had a red-necked franklin or spurfowl, a grey-backed physical, and a white-browed kukel. Now, there are more, or there is more, than one kukel species findable here in the Masai Mara. Let me just quickly look. You find the white-browed, which we found there. You find the blue-headed, apparently. I've never seen one. And the Senegal you should find, maybe. And definitely the black kukel. The black kugel is distinguished from the white-browed in that it is, of course, black. Yes, Bearcat, many of the shrikes that we find here, especially the physicals, do look like they have masks on them. The obvious example at Djuma is the red-backed shrike. It looks like it's got a little bandit's mask. And the lesser grey shrike, which you find there. But the grey-backed physical is no exception. Pleasant day out here. Temperature is gorgeous. Probably about 22 or 23 degrees Celsius. Round about 75 Fahrenheit. What have you got there?
This one.
Ah, another white-browed kukel. Thank you. Well done, Bungay. They are magic-looking birds. And they're quite voracious hunters, you know. Yeah, well, that thing's probably looking for grasshoppers largely. They'll take mice, they'll take nestlings, they'll take pretty much anything made of meat that they can get their beaks into. Okay, alrighty, let's move along from here. A nice little birding stop that we've made. Back onto the road. I was thinking about going south to see if we could find the cheetah, but I'm not sure we'll have time. We may quickly try. Anyway, in the meantime, let's go back to Leo Smith and his mystery leopard.
Yes, no more mystery. But he's gone into this incredibly difficult area. You can see how thick it is up here. I'm just going to stop and listen on top of this crest here quickly. Hoping to hear snorts of impala or kudu. And there's another mystery track around here. There's a single male lion that heads down towards the Kruger boundary, but who and which lion that is, I have absolutely zero a clue. Because the 3 evokers in Buffalo's Hook, but I have heard there's some 2 new boys that are coming in from Kruger. Carol's wondering, how can I tell it's Quarantine's tracks? Well, because he was seen on Nkoro yesterday and they tracked him from where he was seen to where he crossed into Torchwood. That's how I know it's Quarantine. Ah, there's a birdie in the distance there, Darby. I'm going to stop up here at the junction. See it sitting up top there. Time for a bird quiz, I do believe. And we're looking down towards Nkoro in the Kruger boundary. Quite tough in that light, although I think some of you will get it quickly. So what bird is that? Hashtag SafariLive. It's actually quite easy now looking at it again. I'm just going to listen here again for a second. The birds are incredible this morning. Different set of birds to the ones we were listening to earlier. Well done, David. Indeed, it was a battle here. So we got the... Oh, the sun's very bright. Let me turn this way, David. There we go. Don't have to stare into the sun. So we've got quite a lot of different bird species here at the moment. Top of that tallest little terminalia there, you see, Dove, hopping around. So we've got a whole bunch of different birds here. There we go. Southern black tit in these on the crests here. So we're hearing cisticulars, tits, hornbills. What else can I add? Oh, an oriole. That's down in the drainage line somewhere. But what I'm really hoping to hear while I sit here is alarm calls. However, no such luck just yet. Bright Night says Africa has the prettiest birds. They are so colourful. Indeed, we do. We are very lucky with some very colourful birdies. And I'm hoping for some colourful cats at the moment, but we're just not getting any luck. Okay. Now, I'm going to do a little loop. Unfortunately, I think the bottom section of this loop might bring us into contact with some gremlins. We actually haven't tried this road yet, so maybe not. But first, let's look for tracks on the concrete-like sand. No such luck there. I'm just worried he's gone more to the east where we don't have signal. But Rusty has better signal than all the vehicles. Bob is wondering how to get his name. He's named after the quarantine clearings, which are just outside Juma. And that's where he spent his mother. Oh, Rusty, I'm very impressed with you. David, aren't you impressed with Rusty? As I said that, the signal's getting low, but I'll be back in signal shortly. In the meantime, let's send you back to Hasana.
So I can see that Hosana is now being irritated by the fork-tailed drongus who has just arrived here looking for some diet. You can see he's not sleeping anymore. He is now concentrating. So I can see that fork-tailed drongo just flew away now. Look at that. So he's still contemplating about his next plan. Maybe he just needed a nap. He wants to carry on hunting. You can see this kind of animal's got big canines. Amber, when the animals dies, if the animals are dying naturally, it has to be investigated if there's only one specific species dying. But normally, the animal, you can see that is trying to groom himself there. So the copulatory organ of this kind of cats has got some spikes, which helps them in order to scratch the copulatory organ of the female during the withdrawal, which then kickstart the ovulation process, which is where the eggs are ready for fertilization, so that fertilization can take place. So if those spikes are not strong enough to kickstart ovulation, the female is not going to have babies. So it's important that these cats have the spikes. So when the animal dies, we only check if there is a specific species just dying naturally. It has to be investigated to see if it's a disease or not. But normally, when animals are dying, nature is taking its course. That will be a bonus for the other animals such as hyenas. Animals do die a lot, specifically after the first rains. If it rains after animals were on a long dry season or drought season, when the rain comes, it comes with quite a lot of cold. And when the trees are starting to come back, they come back, the leaves having a lot of high voltage of tannin, which is a poison, which is a chemical, not a poison, is a chemical these trees are using in order to protect themselves. Look at that. Now he's playing with the elephant dung. Look at that. He's playing with the elephant dung now. He's playing now with the elephant dung. Look at that. So he needs some company. He's having a sport now. Look at that. Oh, he's now goalkeeping. He's a very good goalkeeper. So this cat is so funny. Yesterday he was doing something else by the kill. Now he's having some sport. He got another one. Look at that. Miss Cat, that is true. He needs a ball to play with. You can see that he likes to play. I told you earlier that this cat, I saw him doing this by the buffalo droppings and the buffalo urines. So this is so funny. I never saw this happening before. Cats can be so interesting. Now he's eating the sticks. Look at that. He's using the stick as a toothpick now. So he needs a serious company. So you can see that he's not just flat anymore. He is showing at least, look, now he's eating the sticks. So what is he thinking about to do next now? Maybe he's thinking about to introduce another game. He's still holding the stick with the left foot and is attached to the side of the cheek. So he's just looking at the birds now. You can see the tail is showing you that he was interested in something. Heavily, the playing, I'm just checking here where he's checking to see if there is nothing coming. I can see that his look there shows that he is looking at something. Heavily, the cats play is part of, is even part of it's an integral part of learning. So the juveniles, they learn quite a lot of survival skills from, look at that. Now it's time to stretch and it's time for an exercise. Look at that. Again, he's grabbing his ball. Look at that. So it's time for sport now. This is interesting. Yeah, some of the elephant pieces, they are entering the nose. I can hear that he's trying to sneeze them out. Hosanna is so very bored this morning. Look at that, he's eating the elephant. It doesn't taste nicely. So that expression was clear that yeah, that expression showed that the elephant dung doesn't have a good taste. He's used to the meat, not the elephant dungs. Yeah, this cat is so funny. Now he's leaving. Oh, he's now playing at the back of the car. I can't see him here where I am now. I can see the... Let's just wait and see what he's right here. So you can see he's right here next to me. So now he knows how the elephant dung tastes like. So I'm trying to check what he's looking at the moment. Look now. He's still interested to play, but he's just trying to get rid of the dirt he collected while he was playing the elephant dung. So the cats sometimes, you'll see when they're still very young, they play with their tails. You'll see them going in circles trying to catch their own tail. He's cleaning the tail now. Dr. Rob, that is how I also love, that is why I also enjoy having Tingana on every side. And look at that, oh, he just stepped into a thorn now. So you can see that he still wants to play with the sticks. He's holding another stick there. So that is why we love him so much. He's quite an interesting cat. So he will show you all the different kind of behaviors. So I'm just going to follow him now and see if we can have a better sighting again. So now let's go to Brent, who is not lucky yet with his leopard.
No, unfortunately, the track's headed into an area where we have no signal, so we're going to head back towards the west. We did have tracks of Tingana earlier this morning as well, but at the same time I got the report of quarantine and I sort of had to go, which one? And we decided to roll the dice with quarantine down in the east, but unfortunately we got snake eyes. So we're going to go back to where we last had Tingana's tracks and see if we have any luck there. Okay, well, I head off to the west and south of Djuma. James Henry is playing in that wonderful area called the Masai Mara, and he's now got the largest animal there.
We have headed off to the midley of the Mara Triangle, where there is a herd of elephants making their way slowly towards the river, I think. They have themselves a drink. As you can see, they are in no rush. They are not born of the work ethic of a New York banker. Hopefully not the criminal intent either. They're taking a very leisurely stroll across the plains. Gosh, it looks peaceful, doesn't it? Looks like a good way to live. It's the sort of pace that life should be lived at. Might have a piece of this grass. Nah, I think I'll just have the next one. Young bull giving us a bit of a look, but not giving it too much thought, because there might be a nice plant to eat rather. Quite often they feed on the sides of the roads for a little while, and I think that's because water obviously gathers in the gullies on the sides of the roads, and so the grass is obviously quite often greener. But the matriarch in front is leading them inexorably towards the river. They might find a small gully with some water in it on the way, but I suspect they'll probably go all the way to the river. Gorgeous little scene. I believe Brent tried to answer a question earlier but was sneezing too much to try and give you a coherent one. Michael, I don't know if we'll ever understand Michael's. You know, I've got it, Megs, thanks. I'm not sure, Michael, if we'll ever be able to understand American American communication, I nearly said. No, elephant communication. I'm not sure. American communication, I think we've pretty much got down pat these days. Elephant communication, Michael, I don't know if we'll ever be able to understand it fully. I'm sure that, you know, with time we might get a better understanding of it, but whether we'll be able to understand every little sound that they make and what it means, I don't know. You know, it's quite possible. If we were to spend countless millions of rands or dollars on machines and things that picked up all of their sounds and sent out great teams of researchers to look at them for months on end or years on end, yeah, I think we probably could figure it out quite nicely to a certain extent. So much of their communication, so much of the communication in animals in general, though, is non-verbal. It's got to do with body language, and so that would always be left to our interpretation. But I think we could probably get a lot closer. I just think that, you know, a lot of money is spent on other research. Not a lot of money is spent on rubbish generally, but on other research. And while there are certainly people out here investigating elephant communication and making progress in trying to figure out what's going on when elephants talk to each other, yeah, you know, it's not a field of study that has billions of dollars thrown at it. Very nice question, though. There will be some kind of communication going on between the individuals of this herd right now. We do know that the females make more sounds than the males. They tend to enjoy social interaction more than the males do. And while these days you can get in a huge amount of trouble for saying this, I'm going to say it anyway. It's a little bit like our own species. Tend to be, certainly in my experience, tend to be a greater propensity to be slightly more social amongst the female members of our species than they do amongst the male. There's also a harrier flying around there. Looks like a Montague's. I've been asked this before, Oregon Way, and I'm not sure I've ever managed to accurately give an answer, and I feel like our viewers have given me an answer and I have failed to remember it. I don't know if there's a specific reason that their skin is so wrinkly. There must be some reason for it. It's probably got to do with temperature regulation, but I'm afraid further than that I cannot give you an answer. I'm sure there is an answer, and I suspect, like I say, it has been given to me before, but I neglected to keep it in my small brain. It's the trouble with having a small brain, you see, it gets filled quickly and then empties from the top. Now, if we go off to the right-hand side, let's leave that elephant for a second and zoom in over that plain. You'll see that there are still quite a few wildenbeestens and zebra and Thomson's gazelle and eland. So there's still the rear guard, if you like, of the migration herds here in the Masai Mara, which is always very nice. Means the holiday season's not quite over. I always said it was always. I've only been here in and out for about 2 years, but it always feels to me that the migration season is like a holiday season. It's like the place where my parents live, which is a little seaside town that fills up for 6 weeks of the year between the beginning of December and halfway through January, and the rest of the time is a sleepy, beautiful little town. It's a little bit like the Mara, really. For about 8 or 9 weeks, sometimes 12 weeks, this place fills up with not only tourists, but thousands, millions of animals, and then it kind of calms off, and for the rest of the year, it's equally gorgeous, but it's much quieter. And so the migration season is like sort of carnival, if you like. A 3-month carnival that goes on here. Right, shall we continue? We'll go down towards the south. I don't think we get all the way into Nasirian's territory, but we'll do our best before the end of the drive. We have 35 minutes odd. But I'm going to dry quite quickly now, and so let's go across to Sidders, who I believe is trying to find a cat that was fast asleep.
So Osana is just now hiding somewhere behind one of the trees, but he seems to be very interested in impalas here. I'm seeing the impalas 100 meters away or more. His interest, I think, they are on those impalas. So I just want to approach him from this side so that I don't block his focus. So he is on a very good position to spot those animals from far. So from here, I can be able to read what he is trying to do. And it's just one, it's quite a few of them. But those impalas, they are not aware of his presence. Just that from where we are, it's difficult to combine both impalas and him at the same time. You can see them. So you can see that the hunting on these animals, it can take place at any time. There is no specific time for hunting. So they catch at night, they catch in the mornings, they catch in the afternoons. So I think the sun is discouraging him to hunt here at the moment. No, I don't think he will go for those impalas now. And the wind is on his favor. So I can feel that the wind is on his favor. So how he's lying down is very much difficult to see by the prey animals, because there's quite a lot of dead trees, and he's using the dead trees here as a cover to avoid detection. So if any animal comes here from behind the dead tree, it won't be able to be easy for that animal to see this cat. Patricia, the birds, they know very well that the cats are not trustworthy. You won't see them coming to clean these kind of animals. So that's why these animals got to do the allo grooming themselves. So otherwise, they are going to catch those birds. So the diet of leopards is consisted of a variety of things. They eat reptiles, they eat insects, and they eat birds, and also big animals. So when they are too hungry, you will even see them going after the porcupine. And it's not an easy exercise to get hold of the porcupine with the quills. And so now let's go to Brent, who is lucky with the lions.
Well, a complete surprise. I was following Tingana tracks and suddenly we saw a bunch of lion tracks that were ridiculously fresh. And we found the Nkuhuma pride. And it looks to be the whole pride plus the mangy mungens. So let's do a count. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the 2 little Talamatis. Well, sorry, the 1 little Nkuma, 1 little Talamati. There's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, nearly full. There could be some more spread out here. Hello, kitties. Nice to have you back. You snuck on. I suppose with where the Talamatis and Avokas were calling from is quite far north of here. We're on the southern boundary. So they obviously feel there's enough of a gap. What are you doing? There's one chewing on a stick. Don't look too well fed. One of the subbies. Standing by. Just me. Sorry guys, just on the game drive for a second. No problem, make your way. And it's so funny, we're about to turn around to look for where Tingana crossed the Mowachi River. Then I just spotted them through the trees. We also saw some tracks there. Hey, they've moved a long way from where they were yesterday. A proper long way. Probably 8-9 kilometers. Yeah, good groom. So, probably have just gone flat. David's wondering about how the Mangeni males are looking. They're right at the back. You see them there, Dav? Well, let's go have a look. David wants to know how they're looking, so let's go have a look at them. Hey, kitties. Nice surprise. I'm looking hungry, so I think I know what my plan is for this evening. Hopefully there's some buffalo about. I haven't seen any sign of buffalo though. Let's have a look. How are you mangy creatures looking? One is still looking a lot worse than the other two. Although one's looking much better. But those two boys are not looking well. Naughty, naughty David Eastor. Naughty. So everyone, guess what? David's cell phone just went ping. So I think everyone in camp gets to take a run at him with a flogging stick when we get back. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, David. Maybe we should all flog him and then take a video of David being flogged and put it up on social media. We might get pinged for cruelty to cameramen though. Shame, boys. Yeah, the two particularly the furthest one, the ribs are showing quite badly. I mean the hips. Not looking well, those two. And still hungry. So the one closest to us, one closest to us is looking a lot better than the other two. Shame. Okay, let's go back to the pretty lines. Bright Knight is wondering, are the Avokas close to taking over the Nkuhumas? Not really, Bright Knight, because with those young boys there, the Nkuhumas are hiding from the Avokas. So with that young Nkuhuma male not yet dispersed, and some of the sub-adults might also be a little bit young. Oh, there's Amber. Hi, Amber. All coming to lie in the shade. Pretty kitties. Pretty, pretty kitties. Always nice to catch up with the Nkuhuma pride. You can hear the squirrels going nuts about them. Amber being greeted. Not in a good mood today, are we, Amber? You're hungry. And there's some little dwarf mongoose very close by, and they're also very unhappy that there's all these lions here. You can just hear them. Flop. You might get a growl again if you flop on Amber. Not too bad. Maybe she's offering her belly as a pillow. Can hear a sort of lip smacking of one of them. There we go. Trying to find the perfect spot to get comfortable. The rest of them are very comfy. Amber, the only one with her head up in this pile. Man, lion, 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 lion. Can you hear the squirrel? Amber doesn't like my rendition of the squirrel. Hale is asking, are the Nkuhumas holding out hope of the Birminghams returning? I doubt. They're holding out hope that they'll be able to get the sub-adult females to breeding age and the young males off and away. And I think they'll probably accept the Avokas just like the Telematis have done. Now, we've been listening to the bird sounds all morning. We're now on the edge of the Mawati River, so we've got a whole host of other birds. As lions looked up, oh, there's some hooded vultures flying over. Old Amber Eyes looks particularly grumpy this morning, don't we think? And so it's probably because she's hungry. And there we go, there's that heavy head coming. Drowned out the sound of the squirrel. His eyelids are getting so heavy. Head's just dropping ever so slightly every second. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, we can hear a very pretty bird call. So a white-throated robin chat. Oh, sorry, Amber, I moved my foot. Now, we drove near here this morning. I think they've crossed while we were down to the east. I don't think they've been in Juma all morning. I think they've come from Little Gari. VJ says, I love the fur on her chin. Oh, got a hiccup. Or sneeze coming. There we go, sneeze. Or a hairball. Oh, swallow it again. Maybe this time it'll digest. Now it's very white, fluffy fur on their chins. And now, the Nkomo Pride are not the only big cats that are snoozing at the moment, so let's go see what Hassan is doing.
Osana is still sleeping. It seems like the elephant dung is making him sleep. So that is something else. The tasty of the elephant dung is now making him tired. He's sleeping now, not even worried about hunting anymore. So eating the droppings of other animals here in the bush is normal. So I saw the droppings of Tingana one day eaten by the hyenas. Immediately after defecation, hyenas ate. So caprophagic behavior is a normal behavior here in the bush. Some of the animals, they even eat their own droppings like the scrub hare, and some little ones, they've got to eat droppings of their mothers. So it's not bad what we saw Hosanna doing earlier on. So now I am thinking about to go and check the Galago pen area to see if maybe we cannot be lucky with Tingana, because Tingana was also in that area. So I can see that the little chief wants to rest now. So it is very, very quiet here where I am. So this kind of quietness tells you that none of the prey animal knows about the presence of this cat. And even birds, they are not seeing him. So now let's quickly go to James, who is just driving at the moment. So maybe James will be lucky with any of the interesting animals that side.
I'm driving, but we're driving in amongst the migration. There is a group of wildenbeestens and some Thomson's gazelles. And all of them on the very short grass shortened by both fire and grazing. There's even an impala in the distance and a few taupai. The last holiday makers, their kids obviously go back to school late. Like the summer holidays in the US or the UK, just shifted by about a month. I can actually hear some of the gnu's canoeing. And no, Anna Maria, I've had no update on Kekenya or Naratoy the cheetah. The reason, I suspect, is probably twofold. The reasons are twofold. The reason is twofold. Anyway, firstly, they could have easily be in Tanzania, because of course they did hang around quite a lot on the border there. The second reason is that there is not a lot of tourist activity at the moment, which means that we are often driving out here on our own. And so the intelligence that we were gathering when there were 3 or 4 of us driving around here and lots of tourist vehicles meant that, you know, you'd pass people all the time and they would then tell you where the cheetah were or what other sightings there were. Just look at these Tommies running. They're just exercising, I think. It's a mother and a youngster. There's another herd coming across just to the left of them. There they are. I initially thought surely they're being chased by something. But they're a whole lot behind who don't look very alarmed at all. Anyway, so that's why I don't think we're seeing the cheetah. I'm sure they are around. Nasirian is around with 2 cubs in the far south. She could easily have moved to Tanzania as well. But there's just not a great deal of tourist activity around. And so if we go to the Sausage Tree Pride and then spend time with them and then come home, it's very difficult for us to then find the cheetah as well. Because, well, there's just no way of telling. But that will change as we increase our footprint slowly. And we will become our own intelligence network. It's also for these scheduled drives like we're on now, for example. We could gun it all the way down to the south of the reserve, but then we'd show you nothing on the way and we'd miss out on all the fun little interesting things. So, you know, on a day like today, I was sort of planning to go down there, but then I got waylaid by a mating pair of lions, and then we were waylaid by the North Clan of Hyena. You didn't see the lions because we didn't have radio comms at the time. Then we were waylaid by elephants and those birds, and you know, before you know it, the drive's pretty much over. So you really got to be quite disciplined about not stopping for anything. There's just so much interesting stuff going on here. And if there's no animal life, I mean, you just take a different road. You're suddenly in an area you've never been in before, and it's very special. Let's pop our heads over the top here and we'll scan down towards the salt lick, see if there are any more wildenbeestens. In the meantime, Leo Smith is with the Lion Pride, which is doing, of course, nothing.
Well, Amber's giving herself a lick. That's about it. What we are hoping is that the 2 lying out in the sun are going to come join these ones in the shade. Or the 4 that are away from the main part of the pride. So there are 9 here. 10. James is wondering, do I think the Mangenis will stay with the pride or will they disperse eventually with the Talamati and Nkawuma young males? James, I think they'll stay for as long as they can. As I say, it's not looking good for 2 of them though, unfortunately. Squirrel, did you forget? Now you remembered their lines there. It was a half alarm call from the squirrel. Oh, Darby. There's a lovely bird party here. See those little ones? Some chin spot batis. Got him there? There we go. There's the male chin spot batis. You can actually see the little chin spot really nicely. There's a pair of them there, flitting around in the top of that knobthorn. Ooh. Oh, okay, Darby. I'm gonna go to the right. Okay, where's my hand? There. Does it fly? No, there. Oh, now it flew. There's an African hoopoe. So here's a little bird party here as well. There's some starlings. Oh, waxbills as well on the ground. There's that. Oh, starling. Everything's flying away from you, David. On the ground, you see them there hopping around. Little blue waxbills. And we can still hear the robin chats calling. Oh, and an orange-breasted bushshrike. If we're lucky while we're sitting here, the orange-breasted bushshrike might pop out into the open. So they're one of the more difficult ones to get a nice view of. Oh, chin spot batis is now directly above the lions. Whoops. At least the batis didn't fly away, David. Oh, the sounds around these riverbeds on these cool mornings are absolutely wonderful. Miss Mutton Girl is wondering, are any birds dangerous? Not really. Depends if you're trying to catch them. Having caught a vulture before, that can be quite interesting and difficult. It had flown into some power lines and we're taking it to a rehab. But as a general rule, no birds are dangerous. Squirrels suddenly realized they're lions again. It seems to be every time Amber lifts her head, he's sort of reminded that they're lions. Pretty girl. Here's our dear Amber Eyes. Lazy kitties. Just sniffing, seeing what's blowing on the wind. As I said, they all look quite hungry at the moment. So I'm definitely going to be back here this afternoon and put our patience pants on. But in the meantime, James has got something that lions have been known to follow from time to time. I wonder if you can guess what it is.
Yes, we are here with some vultures. I thought perhaps they'd chased cheetah off a kill, but they haven't. They're eating what can only be described as biltong, or jerky. The wildebeest they're eating, I think it must have been dead a very long time. It's just the husk, a little bit of leather and bones. Maybe there must be a little bit of sinew and that sort of thing there, but I think these vultures are giving up fairly soon. There is one very large lappet-faced vulture in there, doing his best to try and derive some nutrition. Ooh. Bungai, on this rock over here to my right-hand side, there is an interesting bird. You see it there? Just hopping down onto the ground. It looks like a chat of some description. There we are. Right, now which chat could this be? Which chat could it be? I must find it. Chat. No, 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 no. I don't see any chat that it could be, actually. It's quite interesting. It's very strange. Oh no, here we go. We'll find it now. Alpine chat. Brown-tailed familiar. No, it's none of those either. Anybody got any idea which bird that is? I feel quite ashamed. It's definitely a chat of some description, surely. Surely. White-winged chats, yes, we've been through them. No, those don't work. Well, I must confess to being stumped. I would have called that a chat. Look again. I believe all of you have gone quiet on me. Cheryl, you are basically giving the collective response, nope, sorry, no idea. I've got no idea then if that isn't a chat. It's got a white eye stripe. It's very buffy coloured. No, Sarah, it's not a juvenile, I don't think. I'm pretty sure that that's an adult. It's not gone, it's still there, knocking about. I'm deeply confused. It's found itself a little insect. You still see it there, Bungai? It's just behind the rock. There you are. I'm stumped. Stumped. This is where the book is better than the app, because you can start kind of looking through it. When you get stuck like I have, I shouldn't be stuck on this bird. This should be fairly obvious, I'm pretty sure. Right, as in you say, maybe a white-throated robin. Gosh, if that's a robin, I'd be surprised if that was a robin in this kind of habitat. It was not impossible. It's not impossible. Gosh, very poor of me. I do apologize. Ooh, check the, ooh, you know what I think it is? I think we might be looking at an Isabelline wheat ear. Yeah, Brent's just agreed with me. Isabelline wheat ear. I'm going with Isabelline wheat ear. Isabelline wheat ear. Thank goodness I got there at the same time Brent did. Can you imagine if I hadn't? Very good. Isabelline wheat ear. It is a sort of a chat. Good. Ollie, do you agree? Isabelline wheat ear? Your correct answer at this stage is yes. Very good. Ollie is also on the car. Isabelline wheat ear. I think that's very nice. Not the most spectacular bird in the world, but it's always nice to get a new species. Alrighty, we'll continue driving along here. Let's go back to the Leons with Leo Smith.
Yes, well done, James. Well done, James. It is indeed a wheat ear, Isabelline wheat ear. Our lions are being lazy. Some of them are still lying out in the sun. I was really hoping that they might get up and move. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. Grumpy, grumpy, moaning. Looks like he's got dry mouth. Woken up after a long night out, probably with Jola Dave. Oh, they do look comfy though, the rest of the pride. We're enjoying this cool weather. Oh, here comes a bit of a vomit or a hairball. Oh, please don't smell too much. Oh. Sometimes this can be really gross, so be warned. Oh, here it comes. Oh, now you stood in it. Oh, what were you thinking? Judging from the colour, which is very green, it's probably a bit of stomach content from another animal, which obviously they don't like too much, mixed in with a bit of bile, judging by how empty they are. But Josh was wondering, oh, sis. I actually thought she might vomit on the other lioness for a second. Yes, now let's stretch. Josh was wondering, why is there such great sexual dimorphism between male lions and female lions and not in other big cats? It's a lot to do with their being the only truly social cat. You will see difference in leopards, I mean the dewlap on the males, but the big mane in the male, it helps protect it with fighting, but more importantly, it can help a male lion assert dominance visually. So a big thick mane will put off, a big thick black mane might put off a thin blonde maned lion from having a fight. So it's a lot to do with the fact that they're the only truly social cat. Oh, look at Amber. She's got a pillow now. Looks very comfy. Alright, we're going to go now plonk ourselves in the middle after our vomit. Let's find a spot. There we go. Oh, let's go lick my vomit breath all over someone else. Oh, it's ticklish, it's ticklish. Did you see the little thing there? Okay, guys, it's been a great morning safari, and at least we found some cats at the end, and of course Hosanna and James battling with birds in the Mara, but we will look forward to doing it all again with you in a few short hours. I'm definitely going to be back with Nkuhuma Pride. They're hungry, and hopefully they'll take us on a hunt this evening. As I said, there are 8 members of the Nkuhumas here, so a few missing. If we don't count, because we've got the 3 Mungans and the young Talamati, maybe they'll make an appearance on the Sunset Safari. So from all of us here at SafariLive, it's going to be great to see you a little later, while vomit breath tickles the tummy.